Okay, so welcome to day 3 of our CAD classes. So just to go over what we did in the previous 2 classes, so we learned about extruding objects, editing objects in different ways. We learned about the differences between FTC parts and our own custom parts. And we also learned about how CAD might be useful for FTC or for future use. So if you guys need to recap anything, you guys can look at the previous videos of day 1 and day 2 in case you want to go over anything again. So yeah, today we'll be going over creating joints, creating drawings from projects, and using the measuring tool. These are all 3 really big concepts, so make sure you're asking questions along the way and you fully understand. So Rohit can start us off with the drawings part of this.
All right. Yeah, something. So I'll just share my screen. Can everybody go to their projects folder and open up what? Just say, let's open up the donut shape from yesterday. Or actually, let's open up the first project that we did, the one with the hole. Or if you guys want, you can do any kind of project. So what? We'll just go together because this is a little tricky, but you guys should be able to get it. All right. 1 second.
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just getting everything set up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just sending an email out to everyone just saying that class 2 is started, 3 is started.
Yeah. Okay, so once everybody has that open, I want everybody to go to this file button at the top. Everybody can see where my cursor is, right? And from file, you'll be able to see that you have new design, new drawing, and then new electronics design, new electronic library. What we want to click is new drawing. So from there, we'll go from design. And when we click from design, we'll just select full assembly, which will select the one object in our design. If you guys have multiple objects in a project, then you can just select a single one of them or all of them. But since I just have one, it automatically selected this one object. So I'll just click OK. And this might take a little bit, depending on how fast your computer is. Template. And you can see that it's taking me to this template. And this object might not look familiar, but if I look from a different view, like the right view, you can see that it's the same object as that was in the project. So you guys might want to find a good place. You can even change the scale if you want, make it 3:1, bigger and bigger. But normally the one that Fusion suggests is a good place to start, just because sorry. Let's see, base view. So if you guys do accidentally click it somewhere, you can always just delete the thing and click up here to base view, and it'll give you the same view again.
Wait, how do you rotate the image?
All right, so you see over here on this file, you've got your orientation. So there's a bunch of different options. And if you look back at your project, you can actually see up here that they match the same ones as the cube. So when I click right, it's that one. If I do front, then it was the view that was shown. Top. And for now, let's just choose a side where you can see the most detail and at the base view. So I'm just going to choose the right view just because that's what's easy. That's what shows the most detail in my drawing.
Oh, Rohit, we can't see your screen.
Oh, really? Sorry. Yeah, I think something happened. All right. Is it better?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to choose right just because that shows the most detail in my object. So I'm just going to click wherever I want to keep it. And once you guys have done that, just hit OK. And you'll see that it creates like a drawing of what that view was, a 2D drawing of what your 3D object looks like in that plane. So once you guys have clicked OK, just tell me and I'll move on to the next step.
Yeah.
I clicked OK.
Okay.
Me too.
So now what we want to do is hit projected view and select this object. And now what you're going to see is that if you move it to different spaces, you'll see different kinds of drawings of your object. So this top one is called your top view. This top view is going to be whatever the top of your drawing is. and this other one is going to be your right face view. So if this is my front view, and I just select this as this will be the right of my drawing. And this last one is called your orthogonal view, which is pretty much just a fancy way of saying like a 3D view. Shows you the object how you would see it if you go back here and look at it. So I'm just gonna do it again, and should be able to shoot a click. I want to hit enter. Then you'll see that it shows all of them. And the cool thing about this is that it actually shows you all of the details with like dotted lines to show like parts that you can't actually see. But this is like really cool because it allows you to, you can like send this to somebody and they can see a lot of detail just in this simple 4 drawings. So is everybody able to do that?
I think I got it.
Okay. Once you do this, just save it like you would a regular project, and it should just save right in your folder. And then me and Satyam will come around and look at it. Yeah. So just save it, and then Satyam and I will come around and look at what you guys did.
It's supposed to save as like a different like file instead of a project like 1. It should save as project 1 drawing, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
All right. So Ritik, did you get it? Yeah, I see it.
Abhimanyu, did you get it, or should we?
I just joined.
Yeah. Okay. So Umahani also just joined. So let's.
By the way, I'm leaving early because I have a class at 3:20.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
that's fine. Yeah.
You have to leave early?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ritik, I'm looking at your drawing right now, right? You can see it on my screen. Typically, when you're doing it, the standard way is to have it so that your original view is in this bottom left corner. Your top view would be in the right corner. Your right hand view would be in this bottom right corner, and then your 3D drawing would be in this top left corner. Top right corner, sorry.
So I'll just like click them and delete them and make new ones?
I think what you can actually do is just select it, and if you go up here to modify and see move, you can actually just move these. You can move the drawings and it'll just replace it into the new spot you want. So that'll save you some time. But yeah, other than that, it looks good. Did anybody else get it?
Yeah, me. I did it.
Let me check it. Did you? Oh, okay. I see it. I see it. All right. Let's see. All right. This looks good. Looks like this is good, but like what I was saying to Ritik, that this it looks good and you can see a lot of detail, but the standard notation is just 4 drawings. This is good because you can still see stuff. Oh shoot, sorry. I think I stopped the sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is still good because I can still see a lot of detail. But if you were sending this to somebody, they might get confused because there's a lot of different stuff. I think this is fine for now. You can keep this. Just like letting you know if you do it in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, did anybody else get it? And on the sheet, you were here. All right. She, were you unable to get the rest of them? I only see one.
How to get, I can only get the.
Okay, so when you get to this, you can see my screen, right? So just opening up your sheet right here.
Rohit, do you think you can do one item over again? Because 3 people just joined.
All right, I'll do that. Let me just look at the sheets and show them how, and then I'll go over that again.
Yeah.
All right, I'll just show you in my drawing. So when you have your original drawing, right? I'll just go back. So you have your base drawing here, right, in the sheet? So you have that there. And when you put in your base view, you just have to go up and hit this projected view button. And when you do that, you just select your base view and it'll give you all the other views depending on where your mouse is, like where your cursor is. and I just hit enter, and I have all 4 views. So you want to try that, Nishi? Okay. For the people who just joined in, I'm just gonna go over what we just did. So I'm gonna go to just open up one of the projects that you did from 2 days ago or yesterday. If you guys weren't here yesterday, this is all we did. But just open up any of them, any project that you have in your projects folder. Doesn't really matter. It'll all be the same. So when you guys have done that, just tell me and I'll move on. Okay, I'm just gonna move on now. So when you guys have opened up your project view, what you want to do is go up to here to the file button. You click on the file button and go all the way down to new design, or new drawing, sorry. So when you're at new drawing, what you want to click is from design. And from there, you'll be able to select which body, or like which object you want to create the drawing from. So if you don't want to, like if you have multiple things in the same project, then you can just exit out from full view and just select the components that you want. But since I only have one thing, I can just hit full assembly and it'll select the only one thing. So when I have done that, click OK, and it'll bring you to this template. So when you're at this template, it'll show you the base view of it'll show you the front view of this. If you want to change front view of your object, so we want to get the most detail from our base view, which is what is in my cursor right now. So to change that, we can go up to orientation, and I'm just going to choose the right face. And from there, you can see that it's changed so that I have, you can see the hole that was in the design. So when I find a good spot, I'm just going to click to place the base view, and I'll hit OK. And you'll see that it becomes a 2D drawing. And you can see that the lines represent the edges of the drawing, and the blank space is like where it was solid or like empty. So after you've done that, hit projected view, click on base view, click on your base view, and then you can drag it up to the right and to the upper right corner, and you'll see that it changes different based on that. So when I've finished doing all of that, I hit enter, and you can see that everything becomes like this first drawing. So this is important because when you're sending somebody your design, they can easily look at this drawing and they'll be able to see it and understand like measurements and how it was built and created. So is everybody able to get that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hitansh, Abhimanyu, did you guys get it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So just save that again. I'll just call this V2. Save that. All right. Satyam, do you want to move on to join?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so let me move on to joints. Let me share my screen. Okay, yeah, so let me move this. So joints are a very, very important aspect of CAD because joints are how basically you create it's basically how you create your entire design, right? You can't just drag and drop everything. You need to have some like all your parts should be able to join together. So let's say if I open this project, right? And then let's say I wanted to get a different item. So parts, and I wanted to get, let's say I wanted this one, okay? So I copy it into there. So now it's in my folder. Okay, so now I have this part and I'm gonna insert into current design. Okay. So now let's say I just wanted to join these two objects. Okay. So what you're gonna press is there's this button here that's called create, and at the create, I think you can just press J.
It's in assemble. It's in assemble.
Oh yeah. So yeah, you can just press J. So you highlight over the object you want to join. So you press J. It says some components have been moved. So this is fine. Just press continue. It's not like really an error, but press capture position, right? And then now you're gonna choose the point at which you want the other object to move to. So let's say I wanted to join it onto this section, and now I choose the second object. So you can see it over here, how it shows you what you've done. So I click the first, I click this, so it selected the first piece. And now in component 2, I have not selected the piece. So I'm going to select this as component 2, and then it's going to join like that. So obviously this isn't like the proper way to join the object because it doesn't really fit like this in real life. But this is essentially how you can do the join. So how you might want to actually join it is like, okay, let's say I want these two holes to match together, right? That's my goal. I want this hole to be with this hole. So I'll highlight that hole. So I went over there and I clicked on that ridge area. I press J, capture position, and then now I'm going to select that hole again. That's the place that I want to join it. Okay, so it's going to highlight that hole. Now let's say I want to match it with this hole. I'm also going to get this ridge highlighted, and I'm going to click on that. And just like that, these two are joined together, right?
So in
yeah. Go
So
ahead.
like an important thing to note is that the first component you select will always be the one that moves. So if it's something like you have like a really big object and you want to add a smaller object onto that, you want to select the smaller object first, so that way the smaller object will go onto the big object, or vice versa, just depending on what you want your final design to be. So that's always important to note when you're doing joints. It's a little finicky, but you get used to it.
Yeah. So once you make your joint, you can also edit it. So I can move this object back up and down. Let's say I wanted to join it, like let's say midway I wanted to think, okay, no, I want to join it with this hole. So I could also do that, but this is not really preferred. Like if you wanted to join this hole with this hole, you would rather just make a new joint than do this. So like that, right? So this is essentially it. So if I press enter, now it'll be joined together. And you can see how it shows you the joint. So a thing to know, let's say now that I've joined these two objects, right? Now that I joined these two, these will act as if they're one piece. So if I try moving this, this will move along with it. Because it's trying to model like real life, right? If I select move, bodies, or this is like a component, so components. And as I move this, both of them will move together because they're treated as the same part now, same component because they're joined together. Another thing is, let's say you want to take out the edit later, you can always click on that joint area and you can always edit the joint. So over here, there's a button that says edit joint. So you can always do that. Yeah, so you guys should give it a try. It's a bit difficult at first to use it. But yeah, give it a try and let us know if you have any questions or if anybody wants me to do it again.
Wait, so when I join it, my like the L-shaped piece, it's like coming in a perpendicular instead of like exactly flat. So should I just rotate my L-shaped piece?
Yeah,
so then
that's a good point. So yeah, go ahead, Rohit. You can say.
So that happens a lot, and that just means that where you selected wasn't like exactly where you wanted. So you might have selected just a point, but you have to make sure that it highlights the entire circle. Let me open up something. Satyam, can you continue to explain? I'll just get mine set up.
Yeah, so what he was trying to say is like, let's say your two objects were like this. So if you were to join them, sometimes they don't join properly. So like if I was to do this, sometimes like, Or no, this time it worked. So I'm not sure. So, but what he's saying is, I think he joined the two objects, and they ended up meshing like this. So
That's how mine went. It
yeah,
just meshed.
sometimes it meshes like this. So what you had to do in that case is that you just have to kind of like undo the joint and just like you said, just rotate it into that direction. So now if you rotate it into this direction, it'll be fine. It'll joint it properly. It tries jointing it with like the shortest possible moves. So that's why it might have jointed it like that.
All right. Satyam, do you mind if I share the screen?
Yeah.
I have the same two pieces. All right. So joints are a little finicky because it chooses the exact place that you selected. And so I think what might have happened is that you've selected, instead of selecting like this entire hole, you might have selected just a point like this. So if you select this point, then that doesn't mean that the entire circle is going to be jointed. It just means that this one point is going to be jointed. So if I do that, and let's say I go and my second component is this one, then you'll see that, okay, 1 second. Let me do this one to that. So if I choose a circle and my second component is just a point like this, then sometimes it becomes like really finicky, and it just depends on where you selected your joints from. So it just really depends on like how you select it, and like what helps sometimes is just to zoom in or like try it from a different angle. So just like be careful of that when you're doing joints.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody
Another
else
thing that
have
might
any problems?
So was everybody able to do that?
Okay.
Yeah.
I can look on people's. Arish, which project are you working on right now? Sorry, you have a lot in there, so. Okay, I see it.
How do you edit joins? Can you say the command again?
Yeah, sure. So here, let me show you. Let me show you. Rose, can you stop sharing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see my screen? Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
See.
So let's say I make this joint right here, capture position here and here. What is it doing? Yeah, okay. So if I made this joint right here and then I don't want it later, so there's this small thing you might see. It's like this kind of like hexagonal. It's like a, not hexagonal, it's like a square shaped thing. And it's showing like you've made that joint. So if you click that and you right click, then there's something called edit joint in that. So you can edit it like that. Another thing you can do is like, there's this thing called, there's a timeline here. So if you look at the bottom here, there's like these timelines and they show you like the actions you've made. It's like, this is a move and this is a joint. So you can do the same thing. You can right click here and also press edit joint. And then you'll be able to like edit it.
So then also talk about the joint in the interface.
The what?
So up in the top left corner, there's the joint.
Sorry, yeah. So what Rohit's talking about is like you can also look at your joints from.
You're in the joint menu. Hit OK first.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So over here you can see joints. So in this you can also see the different joints you've made. So once you make a lot of them, you can see the bunch of joints you made. And this is also another way you can press edit. This is also a way you can hide these things. Let's say you're trying to show this to somebody and you don't want all of these in the way. You can also just hide all the joints. So now you won't be able to see that small button thingy. So yeah.
Somebody had a question? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, go on.
On my joint, it's kind of showing is it like the bottom piece is kind of like glitched into the top piece. It's kind of like inside.
Okay, so that's pretty common. Satyam, I can share.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So that happens a lot, and it just means that your orientation of what your two parts were wasn't like it wasn't like properly selected. That's okay because like that happens a lot. I'll show you right here with these two parts. So if I just delete that joint, and yeah, 1 second. So if I want to create a joint between these two pieces, and I select the front face of this one and the front face of this one, Fusion's very particular about where your joints come from. So you can see right there that it works properly. But if I do it like, so that was the flip view. So if you see down here where my cursor is, there's a flip button. So that's how the alignment goes. So if that flip isn't highlighted, then that means that your joints will automatically, so like the top will go with the top. So it's like the top face will go with the top face. So easy way is just to flip it, and that'll do it like that. But if you don't want it to go like, if you want it to be like the small part, like the bigger part is like over here. I think I can draw. So yeah, so you can see that, right? So if you want it so that like the big part is over here, let's just say that's what it is. Sorry, my drawing skills are not that good. So if you want it like that, then what you have to do is you're gonna have to joint, and you're gonna have to choose the bottom face of this one with the top face of this. And when you do that, then let's joint with this top face. So this is again flipped, so you can see that it flipped the view. But if I take out the flip, then you'll see that it went like how I wanted it to go.
Okay, yeah, I see.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
All right. Satyam, do you want to move on?
Yeah. So another thing, Arish, so I saw your thing. So remember, just a reminder, you shouldn't edit inside the part. So like how you've edited in like 587557. So
Yeah.
try not to edit inside the part, because like let's say if you needed that individual part again, it's going to be kind of difficult to get that. Like you could get it from that parts area again, but if you were to just create a new project, it would be a bit easier. So just like a reminder, that's like it's the best practice not to edit the part.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll remember that.
Yeah. Has everybody else been able to do it? I saw most people.
I was able to.
Okay. Umahani, were you able to do it?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, can you save it? I don't think I can see it.
Also, for the people who weren't here yesterday, what happened was that we don't have unlimited time on this Zoom meeting. So after 9 minutes, it'll like kick us out of the meeting. But don't worry, just go back to the same link that you used to join this meeting and use it to join a new meeting, which Satyam will create. So like, if that happens, just like be prepared to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Umahani, can you save it? And then Rohit can take a look at that. And then Hitansh, were you able to do it?
I don't know. I think so. I got the joint thing down.
Okay, can you save it? I'm not able to see it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so while Rohit is checking those two, I can move on. So now we'll move on to the measuring tool. Okay, so in the measuring tool, it's a very important tool that you might use. So a measuring tool allows you to essentially check the radius, the distance between objects, perpendicularly, vertically. So that's why you really need the that kind of tool. So I'm gonna share my screen. So okay, here. So now I'm gonna go to my project. Okay, I'm gonna go to this one. Or here, I have it up here. Okay. Okay, so the measure tool, there's two ways. So over here, if you go to inspect, the measure is here. You can just, another thing is you can just press I. So if you press here, this is measure. So you select the two objects that you want to find the distance of. So if I wanted to find out the distance of this and this motor right here, I can see, like, select this as my first object, and then my second object I can select is like this. So now you can see it draws a straight line and it shows you the distance of that, and you can change the units obviously, right? So that's why this is so important, to check the distances of things. But let's say if you want to just know about individual things, like I'm gonna press I for inspect, and then if I click this, it shows me the radius of objects, right? So it shows me the radius is 4 millimeters, the length is 25. So the length is like circumference, that's the distance of this, and then diameter is 8. So like all of this stuff is very useful information. And why it's useful is because, like, let's say you're putting in like an axle, right? So let's say I have an axle in here and I want to know if this will fit through. So I might get like some specification from the manufacturer, or I might be able to measure it over here, because you don't want to base things off just how they look. You want to be like precise about it, right? So that's why they're important. So like, let's say a good example of this is like, let's say I had this bearing here. Right? So let's say if I had this bearing here, and all of this isn't applied exactly right now, but if I wanted to like enlarge this hole or something to make it so this fits, then like I could check the radius of this, right? So radius of this, I know now it's 14.8, right? So now if I wanted to fit it inside here, I would check the radius of this, and obviously it doesn't. So that's why this function is really important. Yeah, so just, again, play around with this. See if you can, so like, how about for an activity, everybody has to like find the radius of this motor. So find the radius of this motor, like this piece of it, and then type it in the chat to me or Rohit.
The radius?
The radius of this motor part. Nishit, for radius, I'm not sure. Make sure you're looking at radius of like the center part.
It's in millimeters something.
Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah. Sheet. Nishit, did you take? Okay, yeah, just keep on. Roosh, let's see.
Let me share it again.
Oh, sorry.
I mean this part, just for clarification. This part? Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah, Roosh, you got it right.
Like for
Sorry.
this part, you're saying that the radius is in like millimeters and sometimes it could be inches. Like what would be like the main one? Like if I try to find the radius of this part in inches, then it would be like some decimal number. So what's like the standard value that you would use?
So it depends. So like, let's say if let's say you're getting something from like a manufacturer or something you made on your own and you measured it in inches, right? So then you might want to use this in inches as well. But yeah, you're right. Like, let's say like you want to work with like whole numbers. Like some items are in like 3/4 inch or 7/8 inch, right? They're not designed in millimeters. So it depends case to case which unit you might prefer. So usually it just depends on the design. Like if you're working with inches throughout, you just work with inches. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Nishi, could you try giving it in inches, your measurement?
You want it like customary or?
Yeah, Umahani
could you
got it.
could you bring it in inches, Nishi? Nishi, when you're measuring it, does it show like an arrow, or is it just giving you a is it just highlighting a circle? Because I think what is happening is that you are measuring the length of something instead of the radius.
I'm not sure if Hitansh has said anything. Hitansh and
I don't know if I'm doing the right motor.
oh, right.
Is it the one that says Neverest Classic 40?
No.
Oh, you
Okay,
might be doing this piston thing. Okay.
Just send the AM Neverest Classic 40. You don't have to bring it into a new project. You can just open it, measure it, and then close out of it without saving. That won't do anything to the part.
yeah, it's this
Measure it
one.
quickly.
This one.
Okay.
So yeah, if it kicks us out, guys, just hop back in. Yeah.
Okay.
Nishi, when you're measuring the radius and you're looking at it, are you dividing it by 2, the number that it gives you, or are you just Nishi?
So just like to show you guys again what Rohit was saying. So